Hiya, I'm Mikkie and welcome to Mikkie in a Mix. So, as you might be able to tell from my sweater, autumn season is coming up, or slash starting, has already kind of started, which means the colder it gets, the lower my mood gets. And what is great in that case is just having some fun crochet projects that are easy to work up, quick to work up, and most of all, that match the theme. So what I've done for you today is we're gonna look at 22 different crochet ideas that you might want to work up, and also just to see what is out there. By the way, all the patterns I mention are free. I will drop the links in the comment box below. And most of all, if you are into a creative mess, make sure to subscribe. But for now, let's jump right into the video. So, as you might have noticed, I took off my scarf because I was getting quite hot inside of my house. But for now, I'll just stick to my sweater. This is the sweater, by the way, that I made last year, also because of fall season. And I thought the colors of this yarn were just perfect for autumn season. So, just like this next project, to get my segue going. So the next project, the first one in the home decor where I was thinking about, was about a blanket. So this is the Falling Leaves Throw Blanket by Amanda Crochets. So the colors really remind you of the fallen leaves on the ground during fall, and I think it looks so lovely. And the stitches that she used also look very thick and warm, and therefore very suitable for warmer weather. The only thing that is like another upside actually, but another thing is, if you think these colors are too saturated, it's easy to just pick your own yarn, because it's such a simple motif in the sense of when the colors change, you could just add your own color taste to it, or just use it as is, of course, but I think it would really be cool to customize, for example, with a bit more muted tones. If I think of fallen leaves during the fall, I also think about greens that move into orangey browner colors and stuff like that. So I think this one is great, but you could also make a totally different colored blanket that would still be super obviously related to fallen leaves. So now that you have your blanket, next up, what do you want to drink? Usually, if it's cold outside, you want a hot beverage like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. So that's why I chose the coffee coasters by Sarah Zimmerman. So Sarah Zimmerman, she made this pattern as a coffee coaster, and I think they're super adorable, but also they could just as well be a cup of tea if you choose. And something that I thought could like add a little bit to the tea illusion, so to speak, is if you would add a tea bag. So it would be very easy to just chain a couple of chains and then add a tiny square, and that would make basically the string and label on the tea bag. And if you let that come out of the coffee cup, then you have a cup of tea, I think. It might be less practical with a string on the end as a coaster, but it would look extra cute. So just a thought. So speaking about beverages, what if you want to have a cold one? So it doesn't necessarily have to be beer. It could also just be a soda can. But here is this pattern, and it's the Lumberjack Can Cozy by Joe to the World, which I thought was such a funny name, by the way. Joe to the World. Very clever. However, to stick to the project, I think this is one of the most original things I've ever seen. I think it's so much fun to have like the lumberjack print, and also because it looks like his arms are to the side, or basically, and I think this would make such a fun gift also. Like if it's for one of your guy friends, but in my opinion, anyone looks good in a lumberjack vest, so just knock yourself out. So next up, I'm moving a bit more into the decoration territory. This pattern is the Acorns and Leaves by Thorsby Cottage. Thorsby, I think. Thorsby Cottage. I'm gonna stick to that one. The next decoration can also be used as decoration, but it is for sure definitely a cool project that I haven't seen before. It's the Ginkgo leaf pattern by Stitches and Scraps, and I think it looks so cute and simple, and I think it would look amazing with like lace weight yarn. If you would make the tiniest ginkgo leaf, then you could make earrings or other accessories or jewelry out of it. And also it's always just nice to wear something you made yourself, so I think I'm just gonna make the crochet version. But of course, do with it what you want. You could use it as decor or on the garland. You could even mix it up with the previous pattern on a garland. But I'm gonna do the earrings. Okay, so the next home decor pattern I think is so cool to look at. It's the pumpkin false container by Maycrafts, if you will. So this container, I think it looks so good, and also you could like use it as decoration, and the fact that you could actually use it as a basket, for example, for some jewelry, because it would be a cute container to have on your table. It looks really cute and it's still also functional. So definitely one of the coolest projects in my opinion. So the next pattern is the pumpkin coasters by Repeat Crafter Me. And this pattern is so great. I think you could use it for everything. So it's basically the pattern you see right here. So the super cute pumpkins. You could use them as coasters, of course, like they're intended. But also, why not wear it as an applique? Or if you're crocheting a bag, put a pumpkin on it and bam, you have an autumn fall season bag. And also, not to like make 1,000 garlands, but also this would look good on a garland, just saying, you know, just saying. I literally have a garland with this pattern on it. Let me show you. As you might be able to tell, this is supposed to be a bat. And hello, Pokemon. Sorry. So, as you might be able to tell, this garland was actually made for the Halloween. I made it last year, I think. So, this is one of the examples that I mean with the leaves, where you can make as many as you like. I just made this one, and I thought it would look cute. And then also, I have the red leaf here, so it also adheres to the theme. And this is, of course, like spooky for the crochet Halloween. This is one of the pumpkins I made. It's supposed to look as if the vine here comes out of it and grows into the other side. So I tried to make it stick this way, but it was more difficult. But here you have the one from the pattern we just saw. Yay! And it's so cute. I have another show and tell, by the way, and it's this coaster. It's so cute. I would love to make a ton of these, but it's called the Square Crochet Coasters by Stitching Together. I feel like it looks like a rug or a tiny carpet, so I would call it like a mug rug, basically. So also a coaster, but just a bit larger, and it looks like fancy on your desk. I'm just gonna leave it here now. No, just kidding. I'm gonna put it back on my desk. Okay, so. So the next pattern I'm also really excited about. It's called the Pumpkin Pie Brooch and Tissue Holder by Twinkie-chan, or Twinkie-chan. So the reason this is so cool, it looks like a pumpkin pie slice, but also the part where the whipped cream is on top, you could also knit it open basically, or crochet it open, sorry, and then pull out a few tissues. And I think that's so cute to have in your pocket. And then if you would want to offer somebody a tissue, you have your piece of slice. Bye! So the next pattern, in my opinion, is so beautiful. It's the Autumn Leaf by Robotcomania. Sorry, I had to really look on the screen for that. Robotcomania. Okay, so, well, whatever. So the pattern is super amazing. I think it looks so amazing. I really want to make it myself. But first, I am still planning on making the Halloween dishcloths that I showed in my previous video. If you haven't watched that, make sure to watch that after this video. I think it looks amazing. You could use it as a pan coaster or as a doily, or make multiple as a set of placemats. And I think if it turns out pretty, I will make the set of placemats. Do keep in mind though, the pattern in this one, it is a stitch chart basically. So if you don't know how to read those, this one might be a bit more challenging. Reading charts isn't actually too difficult, so I do recommend just learning how to read them. The only problem with charts I have is if they aren't written clearly, and I checked this one out and it's written beautifully. It's so clear, it even has multiple colors to make sure you don't forget which row you're on, so it's very clear to read, and definitely check it out. So the last two patterns I want to discuss are quite similar but different. So they are the Pumpkin Pie Coasters. This is the pattern by Crochet Crafters. They also have a link on their to their YouTube. where they show how to make this. What I would personally do is just crochet a simple circle as a placemat, basically, where you can put the slices on, because then it would look like an actual pie, and then if you have guests over, they can like grab a slice from the pie as their personal coaster. And I think that would be like totally gimmicky but super fun. It would also make the perfect gift for pumpkin pie lovers out there. So if you know somebody who's really into autumn season, like I'm a summer girly, but some of my friends are really into autumn, and I'm considering making this as a gift because I think it's like totally on brand for them. So yeah, grab a slice. The next version though is still very beginner friendly, but it looks a bit different. It's the pumpkin pie slice coaster by Speedy Crochet. You have basically the whipped cream border a little bit more, so they use this puff stitch one, and I personally prefer this one because I think it looks a bit more polished. I think it also has to do with the fact that around the border of the slice they added, I think, a single crochet or slip stitch or something at least to smoothen it out, which makes it appear straighter and a bit more polished than the first one. However, if you're unfamiliar with the puff stitch and you don't feel like learning, or if you're super new to crochet, the first one might be easier. So just pick the one you prefer and make that one. No, I don't look different from the previous clip at all. I've always had this hat on. So these are super easy to make. I will make a different video about this particular hat, but I made so many of them that I just wanted to show you guys just as a little snippet in between. And because the next part of our video is about hats, gloves and scarves, I thought I'd take the chance to show you guys. But now I'll take it off. So welcome back to Hatless Mikkie. So I think for the fall I don't prefer wearing hats like the one I was just wearing. I think headbands are like nicer because usually it's like not that cold yet, but too cold to not be wearing anything. And also headbands are just super nice accessories. It just adds something to your outfit without getting too toasty inside of like a full-blown winter hat, basically. That's why the next pattern is the Country Cottage headband by the Turtle Trunk. And I think it looks so sophisticated. The stitch looks very neat and tidy and well defined. So that's why I think this would make a great project for a headband. And also it's something that's quick and easy to make. So if your friends want them also, you could make matching headbands for you and your friends. And if this one is a little bit above your level, I would say it's still beginner friendly, but more against the intermediate variety. But if it's too much for you, I also have the super easy variety. It's called the Andes headband by CJ Design. And this headband is super beginner friendly. It's quick and easy to make. And also, if you don't like written patterns, there's also a video pattern linked on their webpage, which of course I link down below. So definitely one of these headbands, or both, are very cool to make for the fall season. But of course, we also shouldn't forget about our handsies, because what if they get cold? Sorry, messed up there a bit. But the Ammonite wrist warmers by Look What I Made. So the Ammonite wrist warmers, basically she tells on her website the Ammonite piece is something she enjoys adding onto loads of things, which I totally agree with. I actually made what do you call it, like a pen case, a crochet hook case. It's a crochet hook case. I crocheted the case and then crocheted the Ammonite as a closing flap, basically. I don't have it here with me because it's basically my spare set that I keep at my mom's, and I have different hooks here. But these Ammonite wrist warmers are so cool, and also you could make them with different types of yarn, different colors than shown in the picture, of course. But they are very suited, because when I think about fall, it's the same reasoning for me as why I would prefer a headband over an actual hat. I would prefer fingerless gloves over full-blown gloves because it's like not that cold yet, but you do want something to keep your hands a bit warmer. Next up, I have a scarf pattern. It's called the Buttercream Scarf by Hooked on Homemade Happiness. I love the way this scarf looks. However, the yarn, what makes this so perfect, in my opinion, is the type of yarn used. So the specific yarn, I looked it up, it's an acrylic worsted weight yarn. So the specific type of yarn, I'll put it here on the screen. Let me just check, the name was Brava Stripe in the color Buttercream. And with this scarf, you could make it with any type of yarn, of course, but if you want to achieve this specific look, then the yarn that is used is actually kind of essential. So, however, the problem arises here. If you don't have the ability to buy this specific yarn, albeit they don't deliver to your country, or you just don't have the money for this specific type, I checked out what would be some alternatives, because I remembered the Hiyaa, that's a store in my area of Europe. The Hiyaa used to sell a super similar color gradient yarn, so I tried to look it up because I would have loved to make this scarf exactly this way. However, unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore. The closest I got was one of the yarns from Hobby. I'll show it here on the screen. The colors are not so similar, but I thought it looked so cute, and I was actually considering making it with this yarn. However, I just ordered a shitload of yarn online, so I will be making a video about that soon, by the way, so stay tuned for that one. However, I thought it would be a bit too much to purchase even more yarn simply to make this scarf right now. So for myself, this might be one of my long-term make in the future kind of deals, because first I have so many other projects that I still want to make. However, if you do want to make it, another solution that I thought of is you could just buy separate skeins per color. It would be great as a way to add your own twist to it, or easier to find exactly the colors used in this project without having to buy the specific skeins mentioned in the original pattern. However, if you want to use the original yarn, of course, feel free to. So the next pattern is very dear to my heart because I feel like this has been in my Pinterest since I've been using Pinterest and I still haven't made it. It's called the Harvest Moon Pocket Scarf by Crochet with Carrie. I think it looks so good because it's like chunky and large and it looks so super cozy, and I just want to put my hands in those pockets. And also, if you are not into written patterns, this is one of those patterns also where they have a link to a video tutorial on the page of the written pattern. I think this would be also a great gift idea, and if you have a partner or a bestie, it would be really cool to make matching scarves, so you both have the same shawl basically in a different color, for example. But just because the project requires a bulkier yarn, it's quicker to work up and therefore very gift appropriate if you want to make a last minute gift, or even, I know this is an autumn video, but I think as a Christmas gift this would also be very perfect. So I have one more scarf for you, and this pattern is also free, as are all the patterns I mentioned in my video. However, this scarf is a bit different. It's called the Leaf Assortment Scarf by Williams Crafts. And the reason I mention it's difficult or different, I'm like Freudian slipping right now. It is different because it's more difficult. This pattern is labeled as advanced, so only attempt this one if you are more familiar with crocheting. I definitely don't recommend making this as your first crochet project ever. And it looks so intricate, and it's something that you would never be able to buy in the store because it's so labor intensive basically. So I definitely want to make this myself. I recommend you guys make it if you feel up to the challenge. And if you do, they also, on the same webpage as the pattern, which I will link down below, they have a matching headband or a matching hat. So you could also choose to make an entire set out of this, which is super cool of them, I think, to add like the kind of set to complete it. It's really nice. So that's it for scarves. We have one more hat and then we're moving on to the final category. So this pair of gloves is called the Dragon Skill Fingerless Gloves. It's a pattern written by Naughty Crochet Lady. I feel like I've seen this on my Pinterest over the years a million bajillion times. So I'm sure you might have seen it somewhere before, but I just wanted to include it just in case you hadn't, because I think it looks so amazing. It's really cool to look at, and also the colors they use in this picture, how perfect for fall season. I don't know what the yarn is called, unfortunately, because I would have loved to buy it myself and at least also let you guys know. I think I might make this one again because I still have some leftover yarn from this sweater, and I'm thinking about making this pattern with that yarn. However, I'm not quite sure because I actually did make this pattern. I will show you another show and tell. So I found them, and these are the ones that I made. I still love these so much, and as you can see, they look quite used because I've worn them all the time. I think I might wear them today actually when I go outside, but I'm not quite sure because I also have these different ones that I think might match my outfit more. These are the other ones. So I love them both. Like these you can like pull up so you see the lace pattern a bit better. I think I might wear this one because I think it matches my sweater better. Sweater better? Sweater better? So yeah, but just to show you, I think these ones are so cool, so cute, and I would love to make them again, just with the specific yarn there, or perhaps with the same yarn I still have. Okay, so the final category is clothing, like actual larger wearables. And what do you think about when you think about fall clothing? To me, it's cardigan season, aka cardi season, because sweaters are usually still a bit too warm, or if the weather is like unpredictable, then cardigans are way better. You can wear it over something else, and then if you're too hot, you just take the cardigan off, or you like open or close it just a little bit more depending on how hot or cold it is. So that's why I think cardigans are the ultimate autumn wear. Ultimate autumn wearable. Yeah. So the first pattern I have for you guys is the Riverbed Cardigan by CJ Designs. Yes, CJ Design again, because it looks so cool. Look at it. And I think it's super beginner friendly, especially because making your first item of clothing can be quite daunting because it's such a large project. So it would be nice to maintain a level of easy if you just want to make a wearable that looks fancy and looks as if you could have bought it in a store, but still is a bit like less complicated to make. So definitely beginner friendly pattern for such a large wearable. Next up is a pattern I was kind of on the fence about whether or not to put this within accessories or wearables, but I chose to put them here because I just felt like it. They are the boho chic leg warmers by Craft Her, and I think these look so amazing. I definitely plan on making this myself. I was just about to start new leg warmers, but seeing this one, once I found it out, I thought like, might change it to this one because it looks so amazing and cute, and I think it would look great also like in the pictures, just like somebody at home wearing like not even socks. Like, what kind of weather are you not wearing socks but leg warmers? Girl, what you doing? But anywho, I think it would be great. And also, I think it looks good if you would have like boots, be it longer boots or ankle height boots. With leg warmers like these, it's like an added accessory to your outfit and not just something to wear underneath your pants to keep your legs from becoming too cold. So, really cool. But back to the cardigans. Next up is the Autumn Dot cardigan. It's a free pattern on Haueis' website. By the way, this video is totally not sponsored or anything. I just was looking for free patterns, and this one looks so easy to make and also very adjustable. You can choose the colors that you want, and it's like a nice, very unisex looking vest or cardigan that you could just wear whenever you feel like it and choose the colors that you want. So very cool. So another wearable, what I would hardly ever think about, but I came across it and I thought it was so cute and cool, I had to include it into this video. It is the Farmhouse Apron by Sincerely Pam. And this apron looks so amazingly cute, and I only wear a kitchen apron, which is never like a half apron like this. But this one is like, this is a look. I wouldn't wear this because it's practical. I would wear this because it's legitimately cute. And I think it would also make for a cool accessory if you are into crafts. Because if you were wearing this apron, you could keep a ball of yarn in the pocket, for example. Or keep your other, you know, tiny tools or whatever that you're always like putting on your desk and then losing where the heck it is. Like you could put it in a pocket. So like this apron, of course, if you're gonna make it for in the kitchen, I would recommend like 100% cotton yarn, or definitely something that's easily washable and also good with water. So however, I would really like to make this as like a crochet apron, literally. Is that a thing? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm gonna make it a thing. I'm gonna make fetch happen. Yeah, so definitely check this pattern out. That's so fetch. So definitely not last but least, the other way around. Definitely not least, last but not least. Can you tell English is not my first language? However, this is called the Floral Fusion. It's called the men's cardigan on Hobby. In my opinion, it's ridiculous to genderize a cardigan. I think it's so like good to wear for every gender. Like choose your own colors. It's great for fall season. And also what's so nice about this pattern is a lot of people like to use scrap yarn for granny squares. The only thing that's important is that you have enough yarn of your main color, but other than that you can make like the flowery parts of the granny square in any color you want to get rid of some scrap yarn and end up with a super unique and cool project that you can wear in the fall or in the winter, by the way, but I think it looks amazing. Hello, I'm close to the screen again, so sorry. So, in conclusion, thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed these pattern ideas that I gave you. That's why I gave you a bit more options than in my Halloween video, because Halloween is so specific, of course, but with autumn, fall fashion, I feel like it's important to give options, so hopefully you will see a couple things that you actually want to make. Definitely let me know in the comments below which ones you are actually planning on making and which ones were your favorite, which ones maybe not so much. I'm really curious to know, and also it helps me out to know what you guys like for my next video. So if you have any suggestions of what you'd like me to throw into the mix next, make sure to mention it in the comments. And if you haven't done so already, if you enjoyed this video, like it and subscribe to my channel. Of course, as a new YouTuber, you really help me out when you do these things. And also it helps me figure out what is like up to par, basically. So thank you so much for watching, and in any case, see you next time for In the Mix. Okay, bye!